Center of Memory and the National Identity Booklet by the Lesedi Community Services together with the Department of Arts and Culture. Now, this is an initiative that tries to give the visually impaired communities an opportunity to enjoy and then appreciate museums and to also have access to information. Kotze is the LC Services Managing Director, and she joins me now in studio to tell us more about this. Quite an interesting initiative there. Kim, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, first of all, talk us through this technology. What is it about?
The technology is to accommodate the visually impaired society. What happened is after the liberation of our country in 1994, the country has only been reactive. We've never been proactive. So I went to Nelson Mandela Foundation and asked if we can accommodate the visually impaired and do a free disability zone for them, because we can't always say be an active citizen as a blind person, but we don't give you the information. So
it actually allows the visually impaired community access to the information that's available at these museums?
Yes, it's the life and times of Nelson Mandela that we've translated. Yeah. These are the letters, this is the prison lifestyle, this is the graphics. Being blind doesn't mean that I'm not able to understand or access our information. True. So what we did is we wanted them to be in the same par as a visual person, to be treated the same. For them to be able to understand and to be active citizens of the country.
So in your view, how has the incorporation of the Braille technology changed the way that museums are viewed, particularly by the visually impaired community?
This will enable them to understand our history. This will also improve the literate part of it, because being blind, the Braille literate in our country is very bad, because they only go to school and after that they're not accommodated. And 94% of them are unemployed and they're in rural areas. So by applying this Braille technology in our museums will enable them to either get access of information, also increase the employment part of life, and treat them as able beings. And that's what we want. Let's treat them as a normal individual. If you are reading a newspaper, let the visually impaired person also read a newspaper.
Absolutely.
We're moving into a social media technology, yet we're not accommodating them, because these are finger reading individuals. So they rely so much on Braille, and yet our scope, or as technology.
So speaking of social media, how would they be accommodated?
We trying now to introduce an app, but a blind person can only access a BlackBerry phone. This is an old phone, app phone that we have passed. Okay. But with a blind person, because it's a Note keypad, they can only tap in and then write a message. Oh, okay. And their phones are voice locked. So whatever message comes in, then the message would explain what the other person is trying to tell them. Right. But you cannot use abbreviations, you cannot use WhatsApp language. You have to use the full English language still. So we are, as a country, leaving them behind. And what I would like to ask for the Department of Arts and Culture, the Minister, Natim Tetra, is that let's transform them, let's treat them the same, let's give them full information, access of information, not only at our museums, but in each platform and each sphere.
So having said that, have you seen an increase of people walking into the museum?
We did a launch in the 5th of December last year, and we invited visually impaired schools, and people don't know about it, especially those special schools, but that's why we're here today, to tell them there is a platform, there is an information access for you, and let's get to understand the legacy of Nelson Mandela. By that, it builds morale in an individual to know where they are coming from, the challenges that they faced, and to be able to touch and feel the graphic of Utata Nelson Mandela. We can't always say, do you know Utata Nelson Mandela? He looked like this. I'm giving you a vocal explanation, but because you don't touch, you don't have a connection.
You can actually visualize it, yeah.
So with our platforms, they're able to have first-hand communication, a language that they understand, and therefore they connect more and they have more significance.
And how has the feedback been?
It's quite good. Yeah, they're so happy about it. They feel they fall part as individuals in our society. They feel like they're being treated as a normal individual, and being a Human Rights Month, they have to get access. Right. They have to be allowed to access all the information that is possible out there. So placing it at the Nelson Mandela Foundation has made a huge impact in their individual morals, yes.
Jeez, man, Kim, you guys are doing such a great job. Well done, hey.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, that's the Managing Director of Lesedi Community Services, Kim Kotze, speaking to us about the incorporation of Braille Technology at the Nelson Mandela Center of Memory and the National Identity Booklet. All right, we'll have your sport news shortly.
32 nations, 44 matches live on SABC 1 and 19 SABC radio stations. SABC is the official broadcaster of the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia.
Technology is used for both positive and negative.
Some governments block the internet in times of protest.